All right, you guys, I figured it was time to give an update on the home gym that I'm in now. So I moved about 6 months ago from an 11-foot by 11-foot home gym in a basement to now a garage that's about 18 by 13. So I figured I'd give you guys a tour of the new space, some reasoning for the equipment that I've selected so far, what's coming next, and just a general tour of what I got here. So I'll give you the quick look around and we'll go through piece by piece and kind of the reasoning of what I got here. So a quick panorama here of what I got. That's the door that I just came from. And then we'll start over in this corner and work our way over. So the goal with this gym is to be able to train each muscle in its fully lengthened and shortened position. So the goal with all these pieces that I've collected so far and the ones that are coming is to try to do that. So starting right here is just a custom bar holder for this Prime trap bar, which I'll use mostly for RDLs and trap bar deadlifts. Get the hamstrings in a nice lengthened position. It's the main use I use it for. I got the Ironmaster dumbbells with the heavy handle kit and the expansion kit that go up to, I think, 135, which is heavier than I'll need for a long time, if ever. And then I also got Nuobells, and between the two of them, I can do quick changes as well as more traditional dumbbell feel and some of the heavier straight sets. And instead of going with the full dumbbell route, I just do this for the space, just because the 18 by 13, I wanted to maximize the space instead of putting dumbbells in here. May eventually go the full dumbbell set route, we'll have to see. But for now, these work really well. And then these are just leftover bars and a bar holder from PRX from my last gym. It's a 6-foot barbell since I had a really small space, and then a multi-grip bar from Valor. Don't get used too much. These are just kind of there just for whenever I do want to do a barbell hip thrust usually, or use the multi-grip bar for some chest supported rows off a bench. I got the PRX dip bar here, which is a holdover from the last gym that I'll use to do dips off one of the uprights that you'll see. And then on the wall here is a wall control with a ton of attachments. I got some, the big ones that I probably use the most that I want to highlight are the CAS handles, both the big and the small ones from Prime Fitness. I use those for all the pushing and arm and delt movements on my cable machine, and highly, highly recommend them. The conical shape is super ergonomic and awesome for the hand. And I use the Prime rotates for every pulling exercise that I do on cables, and highly, highly recommend those. I got 2 gym pins for the stack for the free motion that I'll go into, and then performance pins, which let you do like a drop set where the weight stack, you don't have to take a pin out and put a pin in. You can just let the weight stack, when the weight stack touches the rest of the weight stack, the pins pop out and then you can adjust weights without having to stop. Otherwise, I got a bunch of different collars, some squat shoes for extra heel elevation for this hack squat here that I'll show you. The Peloton shoes, and then a bunch of different attachments that you get used variously. So right here, we got the Cybex lying leg press, which is essentially their hack squat, but selectorized. It's the same angles as their plate-loaded hack squat. Reason I went with this, I was between this or a pendulum squat, and someday may go the pendulum route, but this was on Marketplace for $625, delivered to my door. So it was a good deal. And also the benefit here is you could actually do standing calf raises that are lying off of this versus a pendulum. It's a lot harder to set that up. So this is a little bit more versatile. And hack squats get the benefit of really good knee flexion, so you're getting your quads in a really lengthened position. Similar to a pendulum, the benefit with the hack is you can do a little bit more glute movements with foot placement higher up, a little bit better than a pendulum in my opinion, so it's slightly more versatile. And the weight stack's super heavy. I think it's 500 pounds. It might be 400, but you can even gym pin, and I have some plate mates and different 5-pound adjustment things, so you can get this stack really, really heavy. And it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So yeah, super awesome piece, super smooth, and I love the lying down aspect of it. It's really easy on the knees versus the angled ones that are like 45 degrees, like the traditional Cybex one. So I would highly recommend if you guys can pick one of these up. Over here, I got the Life Fitness Hyperextension Bench. I actually got this for $100, which was probably the best deal of all the pieces in this gym. I wanted to have a hyperextension bench for glute training in the shortened position. It also gets the hamstrings in the lengthened position, but a little more stable than RDLs because you got a nice support for your hips. Super versatile for a bench, and I really love this. And then I got the Prime solo wedges that I'll use for split squats, but I also use it to elevate this a little higher so I can get some dumbbells and plates and weight this without touching the ground. And I'll kick this angle up even higher depending on what I'm looking to bias. And then these are some urethane GP 45-pound plates, as well as American Barbells rubber coated set. I got these off Marketplace. I think I paid, it was under $1.25 a pound for the GP plates. And they're urethane coated, so they're super durable and they'll last forever. And I definitely love having these. And then I have the rest of the American Barbell sets are also super nice for rubber coating. So I definitely don't think I'll be changing plates out anytime soon. And I have like 6 pairs of the 45, so we're way good on weight. And then over here, I forgot to mention the PRX bands, or PRX holders. And this is, I think, Elite FTS's full array of bands. Specifically use them to reverse band the hack squat and do some reverse banding on some of the motions that I do. Not too much else use. And then I got a wall ball there that's left over from my last gym. And then over here, a space heater to supplement the mini split that I got sometimes on the really cold days, and a homemade calf block that I'll use for standing calf raises, and I use it on my other leg press. And then that's the Titan glute ham roller, I think it's called. And it was a holdover from my last gym, just as a versatile piece to hit hamstrings a little bit, kind of similar to like a lying leg curl. And then behind the free motion, I just have a Kensui easy weight vest, the max one, for like weighted push-ups, weighted pull-ups type thing, kettlebell, and then a battle rope, all of which don't get used all that often, but just get some variety. This is leftover from my last gym and got moved with me. This is the Free Motion Dual Cable Cross Light. I bought this brand new. I think it was like $6,000 all in. And I got this one because it was the smallest possible functional trainer with the dual arms that rotate up and down, left and right, which is the kind that I wanted. If I had to buy it again in this gym, now that I have more room than my old gym, I probably would have gone for the full Free Motion or maybe the Prime Fitness one with the heavier stacks, but this still gets the job done. So it's got 2 stacks with a 3-to-1 ratio of 70 pounds effective resistance, and then I have the gym pins, and you can put them on the last peg, and it still works with the travel on the cables. So you can get these things relatively heavy, which is good enough for me for almost every movement. And then I have the plate mates, which I use on my Nuabells to get the 2.5 pound increments on the dumbbells, as well as on this to get even smaller increments for motions like lateral raises and things. You can get dialed in on really small weight increments for progressive overload. And then, so yeah, this machine I use for pretty much everything upper body, as well as like glute kick backs and cable RDL motions. So you can hit pretty much every upper body muscle in the short and the length position here. Specifically love to set this up for chest supported rows, where I'll do cable supported rows, or I'll do cable chest pressing with the cables set so that I can converge and get a good stretch on the pecs, as well as getting a good shortened contraction in the pecs. I love cable chest pressing for that. We'll do cable lateral raises, face away cable curls, tricep cross cable extensions, all kinds of different motions. In this thing, you can pretty much do everything you want. And then I got the Rep AB3000 version 1, which was a holdover from the last gym. It was just a good value bench. May someday upgrade this to the Prime bench. We'll have to see. But for now, it gets the job done. It works really well. It's pretty compact and pretty easy to move around, and the color goes with everything in here. So for now, it's gonna stay. And then that's the mini split back there, as well as a couple of Sonos One speakers that I have set up just for some sound in here. And then moving on, I think, so this was like 320 bucks, something like that, new. So moving on, these are the PRX squat rack uprights that I had left over. I didn't actually set up my rack in this gym because I don't typically squat bench all that often with barbell motions. So instead of setting up the rack to take up space, I just use the uprights for now. And those uprights are for like the dip bar and any other rack-based attachments that are coming out. I was looking at some of the, like the bulletproof squat arm with the pendulum squat, stuff like that. It might be useful to have these for if I decide to go that route. So they're kind of just there in case I want to go for that in the future. Planning on eventually changing this out for the Sorinex functional cable column to get a really heavy stack, and then using the Bulldog pad and the lat roll or the leg roller to do like a lat seat. And then that way I can get a lat pull down type machine in here, which I don't currently have, and I don't think I'll have the space for. So that's kind of my thought process, is to eventually upgrade it, because it only takes up 4 inches wide, 28 depth, and I should be able to fit it there. So that PRX rack was maybe $1,000 new when I got it from my last gym, and then I have all the other components for the rack saved up in my shed in case I someday want to mount the rack. This is the Valor Fitness seated leg curl leg extension combo. It's a holdover from my last gym, and it works okay for a plate loaded one. If you set it where there's a plate here, you can actually bias the resistance profile to be a little more like your typical selectorized ones and not be such a drop off in the lengthened position of the motion. I'm actually going to be upgrading this in a few weeks to a Body Masters one that I found for $200, which was a steal. So that'll be going out and coming with the Body Masters. And I actually have a Prime Fitness leg extension leg curl combo plate loaded coming in end of April. So I'll be selling the Body Masters when that comes and upgrading to that. So that'll give me a lying leg curl for more shortened hamstring position bias, as well as the leg extension piece where I can kind of customize if I want it to be more shortened or lengthened based on where I put the weights on the peg. So that'll be going here. And then this mirror I got for free from Facebook Marketplace. And this was maybe 300 new. I had a bunch of discount codes and I bought it a few years ago before the price raises. And I got a Cybex seated calf raise, which is for more shortened position of the calf muscles. You could also bias the soleus more than the gastroc. So I like having the variety since calves are a weak point. So I've always enjoyed having a lot of variety of leg pieces in my gyms. So yeah, this one I think I got for $250 from Marketplace, and it's a great find. And then this is the Titan Fitness Tib raise, which is awesome because it's a muscle that I never trained prior to getting this, and I highly recommend it. I think it was $125 new, something like that at the time. So I use these two in combination on my quad and calf leg day that I do. And then over here, I got the Concept 2 rower, which I bought new. I think it was around $1,000. So that's just sitting there. And then I should say with the Prime Fitness order, I got the leg extension leg curl combo, and then I got the seated row, the plate loaded seated row that's chest supported, which is going to be going right here. And I'll be shifting this calf raise either down further, closer to that leg press, or between this leg press and this seated leg curl that I have over here. So that's pretty much going to take up the rest of the room in the gym, minus that spot for the Sorinex when I decide to go that route for the lat pull down to get that. So then over here, oh yeah, I got a multi-grip pull-up bar that's mounted on the wall there that I got $50 used on Marketplace just for some pull-ups since I don't have a rack anymore. And then a stability ball and some foam rollers and yoga mats and a hip thrust pad up there. And then this is the Matrix leg press selectorized. It's a 400-pound stack, and I've always liked this model of horizontal leg pressing that has that angle. So I got this to get more of a glute biased press motion, since the hack squat on the other side is way more quad biased, especially with putting some heel elevation with wedges on the foot plate and wearing squat shoes. This for me is a lot better for glutes, as well as also awesome to put the calf raise block on and get another variation of calf raises on there, more like a donkey calf raise than a standing, which is cool for variation. And also my wife likes this type of leg press a little better than the hack squat for herself. So this is a kind of a piece that we all get to use, as well as give some more variety in the leg training and get the glutes in a nice mid to lengthened position on here. And then I got the Cybex. Oh yeah, and this was, I think, it's hard to say how much this was. It was $250 from a friend. I sold the Titan leg press that I used to have in here. It was a linear hack. And then I had to get this thing fixed up because it had some cables that were broken. So I think all in we're like $750 on this thing, roughly, something like that. So it was a pretty good deal overall. And then this piece was, I think, $700 or $725 from a friend to get it delivered here with, and it came from the Department of Justice in DC, actually. They had a gym that was closing down and they were getting upgrades. So this is the VR2 seated leg curl in awesome condition. It's basically almost like new to me. And I got this because I wasn't originally going to go with the Prime combo for the lying leg curl seated leg extension. So this was more of my hamstring covering the bases, but I actually really like the seated leg curls because they get a little bit more of a lengthened hamstring. And then the lying can hit more of a shortened hamstring. So this gets me some good hamstring variety, and I definitely like leg machines since it's hard to emulate those with pretty much anything else. versus the free motion I can hit most of my upper body with. So yeah, so this is the seated leg curl here, and then a custom sign that my wife's family got me for my birthday one year when I started the home gym in my old house. And then I got the Peloton that was a holdover from my last gym, which was a gift for my wife. So that's there. And then we got the Valor squat box, which I will use for, or yeah, box squat, whatever, which I'll use for a platform for RDLs for the free motion as well as step ups. And it's a good place to hold the tape measure since we're always measuring what we can fit in this gym to maximize the space here. And I think that might have covered it. So to recap, and this was like 2000, I think new, I bought it brand new. And that was maybe 150 bucks, something like that. And then I guess I should mention the flooring, which is American Floor Mats, the rubber fleck, 10% gray fleck, I think it was, or white fleck. So these are 12-foot long, or 4-foot wide rolls by 12 foot or 15 foot. I got a kind of a mix of different sizes to cut it here. So that was maybe $1,000 all in for the flooring, something like that, close to. And then I got these Barina lights up here that are LED, which I think were maybe like a couple $100 all in. So I hung all these to get some way better light in here. But yeah, I think that might be just about it. So I'll give a quick panorama one more time of the space, and I'll do an update again later on once I am able to get the Body Masters leg extension in here, and then eventually get the prime pieces, which were the leg extension curl and the chest supported row, and then maybe someday with that Sorinex pull down variation. And pretty much at that point, I should be able to hit every muscle shortened, lengthened in here and be pretty good until I want to maybe swap out a piece or two for something else. But yeah, so that's the gym, 13 by 18 feet. Love it. I'd highly recommend people check out Marketplace for some used pieces of commercial equipment. Makes a huge difference. Appreciate everyone checking it out. And if you guys have any questions, you can either drop a comment. I'll probably put this on YouTube and a couple other places. So if anybody's got questions or anything, happy to answer them. Thanks, everyone.